So basically what we wanted to do today is we wanted to say, in the event that someone passes away and they have a will, or they have nothing at all, what's going to happen? It's something, a lot of us don't want to talk about death. We don't want to plan what's going to happen, especially a lot of us with small kids. No, we're not going to die. We're not going to die. We're going to be here to see their wedding day, to see, them have babies. We want to be a part of all of that. So we don't want to think about what's going to happen if we go. So we just don't. But if we don't plan, if we don't think about it, what's going to happen to us? So this is if you do a will or you do nothing. This is the end game. And I just got this clicker today and I'm super excited. Okay, so someone just died. I always use old Uncle Oscar. He's just my guy and I kill him off in every single meeting. So 2 weeks ago I had a meeting and I killed off old Uncle Oscar, and there was actually an old Uncle Oscar who had died, and there was like sobbing. So if I'm killing your Uncle Oscar, it's not the Oscar I mean. It's a different Oscar, okay? But I just killed Uncle Oscar. So now we're all crying. We're all really sad. None of you look sad. We're sad. Uncle Oscar's dead. What happens next? All of our beneficiaries are going to run to the courthouse, okay? Uncle Oscar's living. We're all friends. We like each other. We go out to lunch. We're happy people. Uncle Oscar dies. We're all going to run and see who can be there first. So we're going to go to this courthouse. First, we're going to hire an attorney because in Florida, you can't do it on your own. You were required by law to have an attorney. So you're going to come hire an attorney, and the attorney is going to go to the courthouse, and we're going to file paperwork with the judge and say, Judge, we're beneficiaries. Give us money. And the beneficiaries are going to say, no, it's my money. And the next beneficiary is going to say, there's a will, it's my money. And the first guy's going to say, well, I was at the hospital. I got this covered. New will. It happens more often than you can, and all of the attorneys in the room are nodding. It happens all of the time. So now we have beneficiaries disputing. We have people that were the best of friends, and I have to tell you, I do a lot of estate planning, and everyone comes into my office, and everyone tells me, oh, my kids aren't like that. My family's not like that. We are a close-knit family. We go to the beach every year. We go on family reunions. We go on cruises. We're all the best of friends. That's not going to be me. I don't need to plan for that. Then Oscar dies. One beneficiary is always the first to pick up the phone and call. Then another beneficiary calls and you mistakenly say, oh yes, I heard poor Uncle Oscar dies. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, how'd you hear it? Who called you? Well, are you representing them or are you representing me? Wait, no, we're friends. We're family. We're all getting along. No, we're not. No. I want 10 dimes more than them. Now the creditors come. The creditors come and say, we want our money. Biggest creditor, IRS, and government insurance. Any type of government insurance in there. You don't actually realize this, but if you're receiving Medicare, Medicaid, government assistance, Social Security, SSI, disability, you have to pay them back when you pass away. Most people don't know it. They're giving you money, but not for free and not forever. They're going to pay a charge to the probate. They're going to come and they're going to say, pay me. So now you have beneficiaries saying, it's my money, and you have creditors saying, pay our bills now. Creditors have a 90-day period in which they get to file claims. In those 90 days, no matter how much you fight, yell, and scream, you're not getting a dime. The creditors come first. So for 90 days, your money is being held up and creditors are deciding, do we want to file a claim? If creditors file a claim, you have to fight with them. So there are two ways to skin every cat. Some attorneys like me object. The creditor files a claim, I object. I try to make them go away. Some creditors won't go away. Some creditors really want to be paid. So during that 90 days, you're not distributing to family members, you're not distributing to your little kids. Now, yes, there are things you can do. If you're a single parent and you pass away, the attorney can go to the court and can petition for extra money to help the children during that 90-day period. But the court gets to decide how much, they get to decide what that money is spent on, and when it's going to be paid. So the court can say either, you know what, these people have real needs, or they can say, you know what, you could probably find money someplace else. And there's nothing you can do about it. It is 100% in a judge who's never met you, never met the person who passed away, and never met these kids. The judge is going to decide. Your money is locked. The money of old Uncle Oscar is locked. There is no access to that money. So people come to me for an initial probate and they say, look, Uncle Oscar passed. Give me a date range, time. How long do you think it's going to take? When I first started practicing many moons ago, I could file a probate where all beneficiaries were getting along. There was no dispute. Everyone was happy. And I could open it and close it within 8 months. Okay? Now, if I file a probate with no beneficiaries upset, and I'm telling you I have one, maybe 2 probates with no beneficiaries upset. But if I have that and I file it now and everyone's hunky-dory, everyone's getting along, you're looking at 18 months to 2 years before those assets are distributed. That's a long time. It's not a matter of hours, it's not a matter of days, it's a matter of months and years before your beneficiaries are getting that money. This is my beneficiary who is sitting here saying to himself, how much time has lapsed? Because after 6 or 8 months, people start calling and they start saying, where's the money? When are we going to get the money? Well, we have these creditors we have negotiations with, we have other beneficiaries we have negotiations with. You have to do something as simple as marshal the assets. So your Uncle Oscar dies. Where are his assets? It's Oscar. Who knows? Oscar was a quirky old man who has 6 file cabinets in his room. I actually did have an Uncle Oscar that passed, not mine, but that I did work for, and he had this garage. It was probably the size of this room. So we go with the beneficiaries to the garage, and it's file cabinets. Uncle Oscar was an accountant. It's file cabinets all the way around the room. And the beneficiary leads us into the room, because I had co-counsel on this case, leads us into the room and says, here. In there, we had to find his assets. And 2 years later, we're still finding assets we didn't know about it before. We just found public stock, just last week. So we had distributed the majority of the assets and now we have public stock. This is a probate that, in my personal opinion, will never end. Why will it never end? Because Uncle Oscar did no planning. He did nothing. He didn't even have a will. He literally did nothing. So when a beneficiary comes in, they have to find the assets. That's not as easy as people think. It used to be you would have mail forwarded to you and you would go through the mail and you'd look at the bank statements, you'd see where things came in from, you'd look at brokerage statements, you would get tax forms, you get 1099s, and you'd see where assets were so that you could marshal the assets. Well, now we're in a day of internet and technology. Everyone has those things on email. If you don't have their email passwords, you're not getting statements like that. So now what are you doing? You're going to the IRS and you're saying, guys, friends, pals, give us old tax returns so that we can just try to figure out what Oscar had so that we can get it to the beneficiaries. All of these things take time. In addition, where are your assets? So the way that probate works, if you're in Florida, you can probate your Florida assets. But how many people know somebody that has a property in North Carolina or Georgia, Latin America, Europe? All of those places, you have to open what's known as an ancillary administration. It's an extra administration in each jurisdiction that a piece of property is located in. So if you have a will or you do nothing, the result is a probate in Florida must be opened and one in each jurisdiction. Now, some countries have laws that say where things are going to go. In Chile, there is a law, and it is very clear about where things are going to go, and there's nothing you can do about it. They don't allow you to draft around it. It just is what it is. But that doesn't mean you're out of administration in Chile. You still have to have proof to the Florida courts that the Chilean administration has taken place appropriately before they will discharge you in Florida. It becomes a huge hassle. In addition to which, if you have Uncle Oscar who passed away and you're going through his file cabinets and you're not seeing any rental income being recorded, you're not seeing any taxes being paid, you might leave that asset in Chile for 18 months before somehow someone in the Chilean government calls your attorney and says, hey, what are you doing about this? And your attorney is going to say, what? What am I doing? What? Huh? It's a problem, and it happens a lot. And it happens because either Uncle Oscar has a will or he did nothing. So you have these piles of money, and the beneficiaries are all really excited because there's money. We know Uncle Oscar had money. He didn't have kids, so he must have money from that because people without kids, that's good. And he didn't really have a luxurious lifestyle, and he worked really hard, so there's money. But we're not getting it. We're sitting here waiting and waiting and waiting and calling our attorney and being really angry because it must be the attorney's fault. That attorney doesn't want me to get this money, and I know it's her. It's not her. She has no control. She gets to go to the judge and say, Judge, Your Honor, let's distribute this money. And the judge says, well, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Attorney Tolly, but let me ask you this. Do you think I could go on my cruise and then I could have my family vacation and then we could revisit this when I get back? Sure, Your Honor. That would be great. My clients really want to wait. Thanks. What are you going to do? Threaten the judge? Threaten the judge who you have to go in front of on a weekly, bi-weekly basis? Probably not. So you're waiting because the judge is getting happy so that he can go on his cruise, so that he can go on his family vacation, so that the month of December is basically work-free month. Wouldn't we all like to be a judge? So we're all unhappy. We're sad people. We're sad because we can't get the money. We're sad because there's fighting. We're sad because there was no planning. But wait a second. Does it have to be that way? Are we stuck in old Uncle Oscar's predicament, or do we have options? There are always options. If you went to an estate planner and you did a revocable living trust, you would avoid everything we just discussed. A revocable living trust avoids all of that. It avoids beneficiaries fighting to a degree because everything's set in stone. There's no way for a beneficiary to change that. We marshal all the assets. So during your lifetime, we transfer all of your assets into that trust. It's not taxable. It's a tax-neutral event. It doesn't change anything from your accountant's perspective. But now we know where all your assets are. They're all in this trust. We have a list of your assets. You're set to go. Uncle Oscar passes away. His trustee steps in, and his trustee says, beneficiaries, here you go. Is there a waiting period for the creditors? No, there's not. Hopefully the trustee will withhold some money to pay off creditors, but if not, they're going to negotiate and make the creditors go away. Not to mention, with a trust, you do not have to publish the same notice to creditors that you have to publish with a probate. When you do a probate, you have to publish notice to creditors in the local newspaper to let everyone know someone passed away. When you have a trust is completely private. You don't do that same notification. So it's more unlikely than not that a creditor will not figure out that a person has passed away, and a creditor only has 2 years in which to file a claim in an estate. If they don't file the claim after 2 years, whether they knew about the death or didn't know about the death, it's too bad. Okay? So Mr. Tennis Ball is happy here because he actually went and saw his estate planning attorney. He made a plan. He came up with a way to not be poor Uncle Oscar. And I have no idea how to use the clicker to get back to Uncle Oscar. Not be Uncle Oscar.